South China Morning Post, 10th of June 2023, China advocates for Iran-Pakistan dialogue while highlighting shared risks and security. China is in a desperate search for allies and is attempting to get nations with despotic regimes, such as Iran and Pakistan, to adopt its policies and serve as its lapdogs. Concerns about increased terrorist activity have grown since the Taliban retook power in Afghanistan. According to observers, a recently established counterterrorism conversation mechanism considers Iran's and Pakistan's aspirations to strengthen security ties with China and their worries. China is trying to patch up the severely damaged ties between the two nations to strengthen individual counterterrorism capabilities to prevent spillover effects, aware of growing apprehension from groups that view it as the new enemy. The fact that more and more groups are portraying China as the enemy has been a source of great concern from the Chinese perspective, according to Rafael Panchichi, a senior fellow at the International Center for Political Violence and Terrorism Research at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. According to Panchichi, the targets of disdain have widened to include separatist and jihadist organizations in Pakistan, who have mobilized people and money to strike Chinese interests in the area and Uyghur terrorists. According to him, China also believes that if Pakistan and Iran get along, they will concentrate on the threats China is concerned about rather than fighting each other. China recently said that it would hold regular counterterrorism negotiations with Pakistan and Iran to address the cross-border movement of terrorists. This is the first time that China has held such a discussion with the two nations, who have long-standing border conflicts. After the United States evacuated its remaining forces from Afghanistan in 2021, the Taliban retook power, and terrorist attacks have become more regular in the area. Separatist organizations, such as the Baloch Liberation Army, BLA, and the Uyghur East Turkestan Islamic Movement, ETIM, in Pakistan, have started building up their troops inside the nation after the Taliban retook power. These are the militants that China is most worried about. The gangs have been especially active in the Pakistani region of Balochistan, which has drawn the attention of China, whose citizens and projects there have often been attacked, and Pakistan and Iran, the province's neighbors. As part of its larger Belt and Road Initiative, China has constructed crucial infrastructure projects in the region, including the Gwadar port in southwestern Pakistan, a $60 billion high-interest, high-debt China-Pakistan economic corridor. Beijing was alerted in 2021 when two Chinese nationals were killed by a suicide explosion at Gwadar port, for which the BLA claimed responsibility. First, establish a preventive mechanism, so that both Pakistan and Iran can also protect themselves better against terrorist threats emanating from the Afghan territory, Beijing has done in response to the violence and instability in the region, according to Zone Ahmed Khan, a research fellow and foreign policy analyst at Tsinghua University's Belt and Road Strategy Institute. To build trust and prepare for a future quadrilateral discussion that includes Afghanistan, Khan stated that the dialogue also aims to bring Pakistan and Iran together to coordinate the growing militant activities on the Pakistan-Iran border. The shared border between the Iranian province of Sistan and Balochistan and the Pakistani province of Balochistan has been the target of cross-border attacks by Pakistani terrorists, straining relations between the two countries. Even if both sides had good intentions, Khan acknowledged that cooperating with the Taliban regime was tough and that closer collaboration with the Kabul government would be a medium and long-term strategy for Beijing. During the first meeting of the foreign ministers of China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan in Kabul since the Taliban seized over in August 2021, China's Qin Gang expressed Beijing's concerns on the security of Chinese nationals, institutions, and projects last month. Following the incident, the three parties released a unified statement underlining the need for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Afghanistan and highlighting the risks posed by the Eastern Turkestan Islamic Movement, ETIM, and Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP. Despite direct demands, Khan stated, but the Taliban have not been able to crack down on the TTP, BLA, among other outfits that directly threaten Chinese and Pakistanis in relation to the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Beijing has begun approaching its dealings with the Taliban leadership with greater caution. The Mesai copper mine, one of its most significant assets in Afghanistan, has been put on hold for years because of unrest. Panchichi, a terrorism specialist at Nanyang Technological University, stated that the clear message from their most recent diplomatic exchanges indicated minimal trust between Beijing and Kabul. The first written pledge of not allowing the EDM and other forces to conduct terrorist actions and activities was highlighted by Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin the day following the China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers' dialogue, and he added that it was of great significance to the future development of China-Afghanistan relations. "It seems to me that they are concerned because they have to make a big deal out of it. That isn't going to occur," he stated. According to Panchichi, Beijing is likewise attempting to strengthen ties with Tehran through this new endeavor. According to him, Iran is probably the country with the weakest security ties on this specific issue of terrorism. According to Panchichi, the joint statement issued following a meeting between Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing in February reflects a real concern that they both have and also a desire for them to kind of think about cooperation together. The statement also mentions that China and Iran urged Afghanistan to end restrictions on women's rights despite the possibility of upsetting the Taliban. The two nations also agreed on further counterterrorism cooperation and stated their desire to establish bilateral counterterrorism consultation mechanisms in their joint statement. China has advocated for peaceful solutions as it increases its regional investment. It has mediated a peace agreement between Saudi Arabia and Iran and has stated that it is prepared to support peace initiatives between Israel and Palestine. There have been significant shifts in Middle Eastern and South Asian diplomacy during the period of the trilateral conversation. Through new, U.S.-led initiatives like the Abraham Accords, the Negev Forum, or I2U2, local nations are boosting their economic and security engagement both bilaterally and multilaterally, according to Jean-Luc Simon, Senior Research Fellow at the Middle East Institute at the National University of Singapore. However, he noted that even though these discussions create a regional momentum, they are scarcely strong enough to oppose U.S. activities with the Arab states in the region. According to Yan Wei, a professor at China's Northwest University, China is attempting to address demands that are shared by the three nations rather than trying to lead regional security forces. Yan stated, "Because Pakistan, Iran, and other neighboring countries are significant, if not core, members of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and the Belt and Road Initiative, the security and stability of these countries are closely related to China."